I've been super excited for this conversation. I've got David Duford, who is the founder of DavidDuford.com, which is a virtual insurance agency that helps agents become top producers. And David is an expert in teaching why this is an untapped market for making money. And David is a YouTube influencer in insurance sales. So David, it's an honor to have you.
Greetings and salutations. Thank you very much.
It's great to have you, my friend. So David, how did you get into the insurance business? Let's start there.
Out of complete desperation. I had a personal training business during the Great Recession and could not get hired anywhere. And when you're desperate to find work, you start considering selling insurance.
Absolutely. So you jumped in and you, out of desperation, you jumped in and not only did you start selling insurance, you became an expert. You've written several books selling insurance for new agents, selling final expense insurance, and interviewed the top producing insurance agents. So much there. So what is it that makes a successful agent versus somebody that is not successful?
Focus and discipline. The funny thing about this business is there really is a lot of great opportunities, especially people who come into this tend to be a half glass full type. And what I have found that works really well is a focus on one particular strategy or product, as opposed to selling everything. It's better for new agents to come in and focus on one product to begin with. There's so much to know about one product or one market that focusing on that one is probably going to give the best type of results. And of course, the discipline to stick to the plan. Agents are going to have great days, they're going to have bad days. And you've got to be able to be disciplined to stick to it, even through the bad stuff. And of course, focus and discipline, common sense stuff, but is always harder to execute on when actually doing it.
And as my dad would say, it's all widgets. So I know that ultimately we're talking insurance, but ultimately it's the same principles that hold true, call it in sales in general, sales and marketing. That's where you've become an expert. And as I mentioned a moment ago, you've become a YouTube influencer. So what are some of the sales tips that you would recommend for business to consumer professionals? What has worked for you and what can people put into practice today?
Yeah, a couple of things. Be consultative. Don't be pushy. Really be sincerely concerned about how to help your clients solve their problems. And if you take a sincere interest in them, they will reciprocate and do business with you more often than not. Ask open-ended questions. I find that open-ended questions are the kind of the magic power. I think of how we teach agents how to sell successfully, and likewise would be very useful. Open-ended questions provide context. They provide stories and emotion, all of which increases urgency to buy. And last but not least, all of this that we do in sales and insurance and otherwise is a numbers game ultimately. You've got to, as we say in insurance, see the people. You have to do enough presentations. You have to see enough prospects. You have to get enough leads. And even if you're the best salesperson on the face of the planet, if you're only seeing a third of the presentations you need to see in order to hit your income, you're just not going to do very well. So the big advice to anybody in business and selling to consumers is you got to see enough prospects. And if you just do enough of that, a lot of the mistakes and the things that happen tend to work themselves out simply because you have the law of large numbers in your favor.
I'm chatting with David Duford, who is a YouTube influencer, a best-selling author, and importantly, an insurance guru. But David, we're talking a lot about success stories. I actually want to change gears, and I actually want to talk about failure stories. My understanding is that your first year, you actually failed out of the insurance business. Tell us about that experience and how you've learned some lessons from that story.
Sure. No, it was looking back, of course, it was the best experience of my life. I learned humility, how to follow a system, and really sticking to fundamentals. And the whole reason I failed is because I didn't do any of that. I came in with what I thought was a higher level of understanding of marketing. And in this business of final expense sales, the type of marketing strategies that we do are pretty well known. They're established. There's not a lot of innovation. And what we teach agents is to follow a system that's already been proven to work. Well, I got away from that system. I got away from the fundamentals. I started creating my own untested, unfounded leads, which ultimately led to my demise around the 12-month mark of the business. I had to go get a job, work for somebody else, which was good because I never had. I'd always been an entrepreneur. So I realized what I had lost, this great opportunity to run my own business, earn a great income, and have some freedom that I wouldn't if I was an employee. And, for me, I had to make all the mistakes in order to improve and learn. But for me, the big thing was having humility, focusing on the fundamentals, and executing that strategy day to day, despite the ups and downs that happen.
Learn you have and teach you have. So again, David, you have already taught our listeners so much in our conversation. I want to make sure the listeners know where they can find you. I know if they just Google you, they will see so much. But you have some fantastic books and some fantastic content. Where can people learn more?
Yeah, so probably the best place to go be YouTube. Just put my name into YouTube, David Duford. You'll see an endless stream of videos that will have all sorts of information about selling insurance and related topics. You can also go to my website, davidduford.com. If you're interested in the insurance sales business, you'll see a link at the top that says free resource guide. Click that. It'll have you a lot of information and blog posts about different aspects of insurance sales. And if you want to learn more about my books, simply go to Amazon and put my name in, David Duford, and you'll see all three of them listed there.
Well, David Duford, thank you so much for joining us here on the show. We're going to squeeze in a quick break, more small business jobs and entrepreneurship when we return on a show all about small business jobs and entrepreneurship. We'll be right back.